hours.
Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Strange Eli and welcome to another video. I just went through the experience that is Grant Morrison's The Multiversity. And man oh man, I needed to talk about this. Grant Morrison writes some pretty crazy stuff. But to back it up, he wrote stuff like Animal Man, he wrote JLA, he wrote even Action Comics for a bit, but he also wrote probably, arguably the best Superman story of all time, All-Star Superman. But nothing has ever come close to the level of mind-warping insanity that is his Multiversity. Without giving too much away, Multiversity is a sort of interwoven series of one-shots that are trying to tell one cohesive story, but each one-shot comes from a different team or set of people or storyline, I guess, from different Earths in the 52 Earths that make up the DC multiverse. This stuff ranges all the way from Thunderworld, which is basically just all Shazam world. There's also the Society of Superheroes, which is kind of an interesting take on the original Justice Society of America, or stuff like The Just, which is the collection of kids of these former Justice League members who've grown up in a world effectively without crime. All of these individual stories are pretty interesting, but they all kind of connect into this one very long, very strange narrative, kind of reinforcing these themes that a comic in one world can be the reality of another. So we see comics that we've previously read within Multiversity show up in other issues of Multiversity because those are the stories told in other worlds. But also, does reading a comic make it alive? Do those characters live truly if they're inside your head? Because, you know, the reality of their world exists within the fiction of ours. But you have your basic kind of structure where, you know, a team of heroes has to take down a cosmic threat, but this cosmic threat is effectively fed by us, the readers, and is kind of a representation of the comics industry as a whole. Now, don't get me wrong, the comic is confusing, and it's a little hard to wrap your head around, and it's definitely not something I would recommend to a first-time DC Comics reader. But for those who are very experienced and very well versed in all things DC, this is a very interesting and very vibrant comic. After I was done reading it, I felt like I had went through an experience. Like, I felt tired after finishing the comic because it was just so much for me to try to wrap my whole brain around, and so many concepts that I still, as I'm recording this, still don't quite understand. In fact, I'm sure that our multiple reading is gonna have to be something that I'm gonna have to do. Everyone, Multiversity is an incredible comic book. This is, in my opinion, Grant Morrison at his absolute best. I prefer this over his All-Star Superman comic, which is also grand in scale, but this is the level of genius and the level of like true artistry that goes in from this, both from a writer and an artist perspective. This is just, oh my god. I read the first issue when it came out a long time ago, but I had stopped because I was like, holy shit, and all the one-shots within it were a little daunting, I would say. To try to keep track of where the story was going and what was happening was really hard because everything had a number 1 on it and had a different title. And it doesn't say, you know, this is actually Multiversity number 2 or Multiversity number 3 or so on and so forth. It keeps it hard to like keep track of what everything's doing. Luckily, one of the issues of Multiversity, simply titled The Guidebook, actually does include a literal guidebook. It goes through each of these 52 universes and explains who they are, why they are, in a short little blurb along with some pictures. But it's still very daunting. It's pretty hard to, I had to do a lot of Wikipedia research while reading this. Anyways, guys, I understand that this is going to be kind of a shorter video. I hope that you liked it. I really recommend everyone read Multiversity, especially if you are really, you know, in the know about DC Comics. It's a really incredible, insane, grand in scale, epic in nature comic that is unlike anything I've ever read before. With the final issue being so mind and reality warping, both in the way that it's presented writing wise and also how it's written and drawn. So anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If they bring back the rating system, go ahead and give this video 5 stars. We all know they won't. In the comments down below, tell me about your favorite Earth in the DC multiverse, and if you liked any other DC comics, please tell me in the comments down below, because I love comics and I'm always looking for new stuff to read. And I think that's going to be it. So I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.